how does one attain growth within their relationships? Relationships when it comes to your spouse, to your partner, with your children, with your work colleagues. I think it's a great question, and we're going to be exploring this today. So, when you're having that great conversation, that you're just both present, that the dialogue is flowing, both people are open, the energy is great, everything is just flowing so nicely, and all the information comes out, sweet, right? But what happens when one or both parties aren't feeling heard and we lock down? Today's video is going to be about what happens when we actually open and the growth happens. Hi, my name is Vanessa. Today's video is going to be about growth and what happens when we both are open. If you're anything like me, cool, calm, collected, gorgeous woman, until I don't feel heard by my husband, then stay with me. If you're like my husband, cool, calm, collected, super balanced, until he doesn't feel heard by his wife, then stay with me too. There's a tendency when we are in an emotionally charged conversation that one or both parties get their feelings hurt and fear arises. And the tendency is one of two things. There's either screaming or there's emotional shutdown. Both of these reactions are not good for the relationship. It's not good for the two people involved in the conversation. It's just not good. I know that neither one of these two options are particularly healthy for any relationship. However, which one of the screaming or shutdown do you think I am? Most importantly, which one are you? I am the screaming maniac until I recognized that the way that I was speaking to my husband was really not okay. And it was rather disrespectful. So I started thinking to myself, is this really a learned behavior? Or if it is, can I learn a different behavior in which to communicate where both of us feel heard, where both of us are present, and where both of us can go through it? Now I know I'm saying a lot about myself because I truly believe that we can only be in control of our own person and our own dynamic. My husband and I talk about everything. Whatever we agree upon as a couple, both of us partake in it. But I'm just sharing it to you from my perspective. So you get to figure out which one really resonates with you. And the big point of this is really, what can we do about it? So if you make yourself small and invisible because you get sucked into the fear of the conversation, whomever conversation, then the other person is also small and invisible. And there's absolutely no room for growth there. It's completely all defensive, right? But if you're in the growth state, then you just think to yourself, okay, this is super uncomfortable. I'm not really happy with the direction of this conversation. Why don't we just think about what is it that we both want out of this and how do we grow? Because what happens when both people are in the growth state, then we come from this space. And then it's no longer defense. It's all about offense. And then the dialogue, by definition, allows you to open up. And then you're not aggressive and you're not reactive. Now you're just responding to the situation. And that's what's so great about the growth state. Can you see the difference? I mean, screaming, crazy, reactive. No one gets hurt. Everybody shuts down. We just say more things to hurt, to hurt, to hurt, versus, and this is where the cool tools and techniques come in. Are you ready? So, when you're in these moments where the conversations are getting heated and you're coming from a place of fear and you don't feel comfortable and you just want to react, all you do is just take 3 deep breaths. Because what that does is it allows you to get centered within yourself. And instead of reacting and being defensive, you're able to be open and have a dialogue and become one with your other person. Because if you're being open with a dialogue and you're responding, then in that space that you create with each other, open, then that's where the growth happens. There you can negotiate, because each one, you and your other party, me and the other party, are actually accountable and we're responsible for what we're saying within this open growth state. So next time you find yourself in a position where you're either with your spouse, your partner, with your children, with a work colleague, or in this world that we're in, let's just be serious, because there's some heated conversations out there and people are losing their mind. They're like batshit crazy, for real. So instead of becoming that person, it's thinking about, okay, taking 3 deep breaths. I don't want to be reactive and defensive. I will think about offense, and I want to be open, and I want to be able to have a dialogue. That way I can respond. And what's super interesting about this is when you come from that space, then by default, the other person also has to come from that state. And everybody just comes together and it just flows. So, good talking to you. And you know, I believe that when we value ourselves, we value each other. I look forward to seeing you later. Much love.